Hey, Alex Tsushiyama, back with the next 5 battles from the Pokemon Global Link 2013 Winter Tournament. I'm sorry for this taking so long. Between the last set of videos, I had things going on. I really wish I hadn't. But uh, these are the next 5 videos. Some of them are I think only one of them is really any sort of real long length, but it's still going to be a pretty long video because 5 videos. So opening up VS Recorder, get to the first video. This was one I won, but not against, once again, someone who I don't know, and standard 2 offensive and a defensive front lineup. She goes out into a couple of things, and something that makes me think she's doing Tyranitar wrong by not leading with it. So I grass not expecting her to switch to Tyranitar to get the Dark type attack on Espeon. Obviously that didn't happen. She goes for the Flare Blitz on Espeon. I think she was just trying to go for solid damage because Espeon the only thing that wouldn't be super effective against. Then I go into Gengar. She goes to her Tyranitar. I go for the Shadow Ball because that'll hit everything for at least some damage, either neutral or not very effective. Doesn't do much. I do get the special defense drop. She goes for the Earthquake, but once again, Levitate makes it miss. And I go for the Focus Miss here, and it actually hits, surprisingly. And that combined with the special defense drop, Tyranitar goes down. And I get to see her third Pokemon is her fourth Pokemon is a Kingdra, which does not make me feel optimistic. And Shadow Ball's gonna hit anything for neutral, so I stay in on Gengar and go for it. She goes back to her Infernape, probably to hope to outspeed my Gengar, but that doesn't happen. So then, go over to Bronzong, get the Earthquake off, I think. Either Earthquake or Scream, I don't remember. But she goes for Thunder, gets paralysis on Bronzong, which would have been useful if A, I hadn't gotten paralyzed and can't move, and if also it would have been better if neither of her Pokemon resisted Gyro Ball. Earthquake does a surprising amount for Bronzong not being the most offensive Pokemon in the world. She goes to Hydro Pump, it misses. I go for the Gyro Ball, hoping to knock out the Electivire. It does a decent amount for resist and low attack power on the Kingdra, but I don't know. Kingdra tend to be pretty fast. Like, switch back to Gengar, go for the Shadow Ball. In that range, I believe it takes Kingdra out. Or no, it almost takes Kingdra out, but it gets the special defense drop. She misses the Hydro Pump again, which I believe might have knocked out Gengar if it had hit. But she goes back to Electivire. I go for the Shadow Ball. And Shadow Ball is just gonna, 2 Shadow Balls are just gonna finish this game off. Sorry about that. And that's the first game, that's another win for me. So, yeah, that wasn't too great of a battle. Infernape put me on my toes until I got rid of it, but... So, coming up next, the second battle, and it's against a bunch of Uber, it's against 3 Ubers and a Cloyster. Once again, when Arceus shows up, I'm probably not going to do too well. Why am I foreboding on this? So again, someone doesn't seem to be all that YouTube famous at all, I guess. That's a shiny Cloister. And I used Bronze on instead of Melodic Gear because I'm stupid. However, that's not a Steel Arceus. But I go to Bronze on. I believe to get screen set up, she goes for the to get Reflect set up. And then she goes for the Swords Dance with her Arceus. And she goes back to Bronzong, or back to her Blaziken because obvious fire weakness. And instead of trying to knock Bronzong out in one hit, he Swords Dances, while I try to Gyro Ball for some damage. It doesn't do much. Blaziken has lefties for some reason, then Speed Boost. And go back to Espeon for Psychic Attack. He goes to his Cloister. It does almost half, but Cloister gets the Shell Smash off. This just wrecks my face. Or this not so much, but there's problems that happen because of this. He goes back to his Arceus. I try to Grass Knot. I'm faster than the Arceus, which is cool. And it deals a decent amount of damage. He goes for the Swords Dance again. And this is gonna pretty much break through my he's either gonna wait out or just ignore Reflect completely. I go for the Psyshock again. But that gets predicted. Goes to Blaziken to protect and then get another Speed Boost off. Severely caused me problems because I have a double speed Blaziken. Now I go to Bronzong, I think to Earthquake actually. That's a +2 Flare Blitz off of Blaziken with Reflect and Bronzong's powerful defense. However, Gyro Ball does quite a bit, or it does a decent amount despite the resist. Again. And it helps that Blaziken keeps speeding itself up. I go to Scizor to hopefully get the kill with a Bullet Punch, but predicts again. We're just trying to get another Speed Boost set up. And now he knows that Scizor can do that, so go back to Bronzong. I think he was thinking that, I think he was thinking that Blaziken would be able to live a Bullet Punch from that range, and I'm actually thinking it probably could. It's gotten a couple of turns of lefties off of that Protect. And this is when Reflect wears off, right after my dual screener defense. And go to Gengar. Once again, the same Protect setup. I tried a Toxic, doesn't work, that's Protect. And then get Speed Boost off again. I believe it's either at +5 or +6 speed right now. Then I go for Broke, try to Bullet Punch it down. And it actually feints it, because I get a critical. And that is probably the luckiest thing that happened during this battle. And then sends out the Mewtwo. And it goes to Arceus. I'm just going to try to Bullet Punch everything right now. Just hopefully finish everything off. It doesn't quite take Arceus out. But a +4 Earthquake is going to take Scizor right all the way down. Right way. The auto rotates me back to Gengar. Goes to his sped up Cloister. And then 2 Icicle Spear, 2 uses of Icicle Spear, done. Nothing I have outspeeds Shell Smash Cloister, because I lost my bullet puncher. I believe I was going to try to go for the grass knot here, but got outsped. So, yeah. Lost that one. That was a relatively unsatisfying beating my head against a brick wall sort of fight. But, I don't know. So, battle number 3, or overall, battle number 13, is against a OBU team that has a couple of ground types on it. It has 2 legendaries, I believe. Yeah, 2 legendaries. So yeah, Axorus is not a thing I want to do. A dragon is not a thing I want to do. But this time I have Melodic, so I can Melodic stall. Immediately go for the bullet punch because I'll hit neutral and everything and do some serious damage. He goes for the Dark Pulse to try to hit Escape. Oh no, I go for the U-turn on this. It takes his Hydreigon out. One shot. I took relatively low damage from the Dark Pulse. So then I go back into my Star Raptor. There's nothing to intimidate. Goes into his Mienshao and rotates off to get into Landorus. I go for return. Get some pretty high neutral damage. He goes for the Rock Slide, some pretty high super effective damage. Doesn't quite take Star Raptor out all the way. Leave here. Oh no, I go to Melodic to Surf, I believe. But I get punched. So, go back to Espeon, go for the Grass Knot. It's super effective, but yeah, it's super effective. Takes Terrakion out one shot. He goes to his Mienshao. Goes to Drain Punch. It does actually quite a bit because that thing's Life Orb, but Psyshock is going to take it out from that range. That leaves him with only his Landorus, which I believe that I just use Psyshock on again. Oh no, I go for another return, but even though I only just barely pulled it off, that is a 4-0 victory. That required some decent strategy on my part, but it wasn't too bad. Battle number 4 of this set, or number 14 overall. This is, honestly, I don't know what this guy was doing, but it's another Hydreigon, except this time with another Hydreigon and Landorus, except that this time with Lugia. And this is a shiny Hydreigon this time. Keep the same Pokemon setup I had last time. I believe I go for the same trick I did. Oh, no, I go for the Ice Beam because everything he's got is weak to it. I probably should have U-turned because of the Hydreigon stays in on Espeon thing, but Ice Beam does a decent amount. Especially for a Pokemon that doesn't really do huge amounts of damage. This Lugia has ancient power for whatever reason. I don't know why. It does almost nothing, and I get the Ice Beam off pretty well. It doesn't do that much damage, but I suspect the Lugia has multi-scale because that's the Dreamworld ability that was released recently. Goes for the Aeroblast. It does marginally more than the Ancient Power. Ice Beam does probably about the same amount. Well, I'm actually guessing Lugia is not multi-scale. Goes for Landorus. Outspeeds Melodic. I mean, everything outspeeds Melodic in this fight. But another Ice Beam to the face. Quadruple super effective. Takes Landorus out in one shot. And then Keldeo, which is pretty much going to wall Melodic at this point. Unless I Toxicate. So get Toxic Poison up on Keldeo. I believe I take the next turn to recover. I'm not entirely sure about that. Yeah, he goes for the Secret Sword. Does just enough damage to faint Melodic. I was kind of hoping to go for a flawless victory here, but nope. So it sends in Staraptor, gets the Intimidate off for once. Go to Scizor, decide to Bullet Punch whatever. Because even if Keldeo resists, it's not going to resist too much. Although Secret Sword gets critical, does quite a bit of damage. Oh no, I U-turn. Come on. It's only going to be super effective against one thing. Honestly, I don't remember what. I think that might have been a misclick, but it did a good job. Go to Staraptor. The turn's going to take anything out from whatever range it's at. Faint Keldeo. Goes into Hydreigon. And I go for close combat to take advantage of the weakness. Yeah. Take Hydreigon out. All this guy's left with is Lugia. Which I decide to U-turn into for whatever reason. Or I U-turn into a Protect. It's work, so instead of doing that, Protect fails, and Shadow Ball takes it out. It's super effective side against Psychic Flying. So yeah, that was a 3-0 victory. That was Melodic basically did most of the damage, knocked out one Pokemon, but pretty decent dent into the other 3. Got Toxic on Keldeo, crippled it, knocked Hydreigon and Lugia down to less than half health. This is battle number 5 in this last battle in this video. This is the 15th battle overall. I did a lot of battles for this, and I'm going to be a huge backlog for a while. So, for whatever reason, I decided to start to use Bronzong again. And that's a thing that happens less often as these battles continue. Me using Bronzong. I go for the Bullet Punch. Get a critical to knock out Togekiss in one shot. Goes into a Cockle Derp. Rotates to the obvious Fire type. So I go to something that can decently deal with it, set up, or rather go into the thing that can set up screens. Heat Wave does a beastly amount of damage. Bronzong is mostly defensive, but decently special defensive. Man, that Volt alone, that is a huge amount of damage off the Heat Wave, which is not as powerful as Flamethrower. Go for the Thunderbolt. It's neutral damage. Get Heat Waved. And that takes Gengar out. Leaves me with Espeon and Scizor against this team. Go for the Psyshock. That does faint the Volcarona. So now we're both down to 2 Pokemon each. We've got Colorful Derp and Licky Licky. I've got my SP on the Scizor. For whatever reason, he stays in on the Colorful even though he knows I've got Psyshock. So, Colorful Derp faints one shot. And then I believe that... Yeah, I think the way this ended was I Psyshock it, it doesn't take it out all the way. Or it takes it down about halfway. Gets the Rock Slide. And I go for the Grass Knot, hoping to feint it. It doesn't, and then it lets the Licky Licky explode. Which is boosted by the normal gem, so that's a stabbed normal gem explosion. That's a lot of power to be throwing around, even though all it does is make this a 1-0 victory. So yeah, comment, rate, subscribe. I'll try to keep up with these videos.